Hi there, I wanted to come on and show you how to make a basic heart because Valentine's Day is coming up soon. I found this on Ravelry. I looked up knitting, free heart Valentine pattern, and this pattern by Vickie Howell popped up. It's called Love Rocks. It's actually a garland and she made it into a scarf. And you can go through Ravelry to her website and there is the free pattern right there. The first one I made is a little wonky and I think it's because I forgot to knit back one row. But this one turned out super cute and I did two sides. The pattern only calls for one, but I made two and then put a little stuffing in it and have a little puffy heart. And I'm going to put these, even though it's a little wonky one, it's not really that wonky, it's kind of just long compared to this one. See how it's more heart this way. I'm going to put these on the mantle because I have decorated my mantle for Valentine's Day. Then I decided to make this video, and so I got some pink yarn that I had on hand and I made the first side. So if you were just following her pattern, this is what the hearts look like, and then you crochet a chain and then attach it and it becomes the scarf. Or you could, she has them going this way, but I was thinking if you wanted a garland, you could follow her directions but have it go this way, and then you kind of more of a swag going on as well. There's lots of things you could do with this heart. I am using some worsted weight yarn that I have in my stash, and the needles were the same that I used for this. This yarn's a little bit tiny little bit smaller than the pink. And the needles I am using are size 6 or 4 millimeter. Probably could go up to a 7 on this, but it doesn't need to be for gauge. It's not a hat, it's not a sweater, so I think it's going to be okay. All you have to know to do this pattern is to knit, slip knit or SSK, and knit 2 together and to bind off. Very basic stitches and you can make a little heart. Let's go. If you didn't want to look online and you just want the pattern, here is the pattern. Again, this is by Vickie Howell and it is called Love Rocks. We're going to cast on 20 stitches. Row 1, you're going to knit 8. You're going to slip knit, knit 2 together, knit 8. Then for rows 2, 4, 6, and 8, you're just going to knit across. Then for the rows 3, 5, 7, and 9, you're going to knit 7, slip knit, knit 2 together, knit 7, then row 5 is knit 6, row 7 is knit 5, row 9 is knit 4, and then finally the last row you're going to slip knit, and then you're going to bind off the rest of the row, and then you're done. All right, I just eyeballed where I was going to start my cast on. I have like this much. I'd rather have too much than too little. I like to do a long tail cast on because it tends to be snugger for me, and when I knit cast on, it's too loose. So my preferred method of cast on is long tail, and you have to cast on 20 stitches. So there's 2. We're almost done. $15, $16, $17, $18, $19. This should be 20. I'm going to double check my work to make sure there are 20 stitches on here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we have 20 stitches. And then referring back to our pattern here, you're going to knit 8, slip knit, knit 2 together because you're starting at the bottom and you're making it go out this way. Well, no, wait, no, you're not. Are you? Yeah, because yeah. I already forgot. I was thinking, is it going this way? No, it goes this way. So here's my cast on, as you can see. Here's the cast on, and then you're decreasing in the middle, and then binding off, and it should end on the same side. That's how I know when I messed up that one heart, my bind off was over here, and I thought, what did I do? I wasn't really paying attention. Hopefully that won't happen here. Okay, want to make sure I'm not knitting with my tail I want to knit from the ball of yarn. That's important. I am a thrower, and I tend to work at the very tips of my needles. I don't knit way back here. I'm at the very ends all the time. I'm going to try, I might squeeze the camera in here. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. So I tend to be at the very, very ends. Hopefully that's not too distracting to people. People knit all different kinds of ways. Some people are way back here. I really love the continental knitting. I think it's so elegant, but I am a thrower for sure. So I'm going to throw my yarn and start this. So we're going to knit one, 2, and I use my other finger to move the needle a lot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I always double check just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you want to slip, slip, knit. So I slip my first one knitwise, slip the second one purlwise, put the needle in the front, wrap it around, and then pull it through. I can tell these needles are a little bit too small because that was very, very snug, but we're going to make it work. Yeah, it's very tight. That's okay. And then we're going to knit 2 together, and then we're going to knit 8. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. I was looking in the camera and I dropped my stitch. That's okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that is row 1. You can see it's starting to make the V part. And then row 2, 4, 6, 8, you're just going to knit across. And when you knit every row, it's called garter stitch. My mother-in-law taught me how to initially do basic stitches, and she was a thrower, and so that is how I learned, because I was imitating what she was doing. And then I got faster at it. I usually don't look at my knitting when I'm just knitting across. It's easier for me just to look up. It's fun to watch movies that way. You can watch movies and knit. And then I tend to be towards the ends. I think that's why, because I use my other hand to push the needle through. And there we go. So there is the row 2. I'm going to continue on. Next, I'm going to knit 7 and do the same thing. And then you do 6, 5, 4. I think I will knit here in front of the camera, but speed it up for entertainment purposes. So we're going to knit 7. I've come to the middle, so I'm going to slip knitwise, slip purlwise, knit them together, and then knit 2 together. It was much easier this time. It wasn't as tight because I wasn't right on the cast on. And then continue with knitting 7 across. So after the end of row 3, we started out with 20. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 stitches. And now you can definitely see the pointy part of our heart. I am now done with all of the knitting, and I am on row 10. So row 10 is slip, slip, knit, bind off. So I like to slip 1, then you're going to put your needle in the front. I pull it a little bit because it got a little loose there. And then you have 1, and then you're going to bind off. So you knit the next row, And you don't want to do it super tight. You want to give have a little give. And then you pull this stitch over that one. So I will do it slower and not have all my thumbs in the way. So now you have 2. Then you take this stitch and you just pull it over that one, and you continue to do that, knitting and pulling over until you have bound off. I was just thinking that you could use like really super bulky yarn and needles that work with the bulky yarn and make a giant heart. I think that would be fun. Here's my last one. And you put it through. I tug a little bit, tighten it up just a little bit, and pull that off, and then you have this stitch. Now I noticed that mine were always having this little gap here, which is going to be okay because you're going to sew them together. So let me trim off my end here. I'm using some, these are nail clippers that aren't as sharp anymore for nails, and I thought, well, that's kind of a handy little scissor. Then you just pull that through, and then you have your heart. You can see how it's more pointy on this end. Now, if you were going to keep it the garland like Vickie Howell had, you could run your yarn through the back and kind of smooth down that corner, and then put your yarn in the back and smooth it down, and then it is more matching. I also noticed, because I was making them together, so here both my ends, these are the same side because both of the yarns are on this side. The ends, the yarns, you know what I mean. I want to put them together, so when I want them both to be matching. I don't want one side to look like this and the other side to look like that. So you are going to put them opposite of each other and sew them together. That way they look kind of similar, and it doesn't look like you have a front on one side and a back on one side, even though you're probably only going to show one side on display. Then I'm going to sew these around, put a little stuffing in there, and have a little puffy heart. Thank you so much for watching my very first tutorial video. I'm going to have a video coming up this weekend that is going to update you on my temperature crochet, my crochet temperature, linen stitch, my linen stitch temperature blanket. It's a mouthful. So far I've had 3 colors, and I have to be a day behind, so I know the exact temperature, what it is. And we're on mint green. There's a lot of mint green because we've been kind of stuck and hovered around within like 2 degrees, 30, 31, 30, 31, but it's still a lot of fun. I know in February it might get a little bit colder, and I might be able to use different colors, or we might get a little warmer and I'll be able to use something else besides mint green. So be sure and hit the bell notification button so you know when I drop that video this weekend. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.